Thanks for joining us on WCBI.com. Wanted to give you a special update on this Friday morning at the tropics, especially given the holiday travel coming here. If you're heading to the beach this weekend from Biloxi, Gulf Shores, and Destin, showers and thunderstorms appear likely on Saturday, especially into Sunday and Monday. Locally here at home, maybe you're staying home to grill, perhaps getting out and trying to enjoy the Memorial Day weekend. Looks like we'll be dealing with showers and thunderstorms here too, with highs in those mid-80s, so definitely a bit muggy out there. I want to talk a little about some tropical weather. That's the reason for this. So this here shows you some of the different impacts. We've got tropical depression. That may be what we look at here. Tropical storm is what we talk about with 39 to 73 mile-an-hour winds, and then we talk hurricanes after that. I'm really thinking that we'll look at the tropical depression to tropical storm range for what is going on in the Gulf Coast. I don't think we'll be dealing with a hurricane when this is all said and done. We'll hold that off till later on in the season. Now, we name storms once they become a tropical storm, so we may be looking at Alberta here coming up soon. We'll have to wait and see what the National Hurricane Center does, but they place a very high likelihood that we'll get some tropical development in here. In fact, it is up to a 90% chance. And the other thing, too, is the track of it is carrying in our direction. This here is a chart that shows how they've done with forecasting over the past several years. You can see in the 1960s, the average error was near 400 to 500 miles out, just 3 days away from landfall. Now, down here with 2017, the preliminary, we're as good as within 50 to 100 miles of landfall for these systems 5 days out. So that's a very good forecast accuracy, and we're well within that time period, so we've got a good idea of what's going on with this. Here's where Invest 90L is right now off the coast of Yucatan. That is as of 8 a.m. on Friday. As this begins to lift to the north there, it's dealing with some wind shear right now. You can see the center here just off the coast, and all of these storms are on the eastern side. Once it lifts to the north here, it moves into some warmer waters, more favorable conditions, and it carries itself in our general direction, so we're definitely keeping our eyes on it for this holiday weekend. As it moves to the north, not only does it have less wind shear, but there is also plenty of warm Gulf waters. We need that 82-degree mark to be where tropical systems can develop, and we've got it all the way across the Gulf of Mexico, so definitely something to keep our eyes on. The biggest impacts, regardless of how Invest 90L develops, will be the heavy rain from it. It could be a tropical depression, maybe a tropical storm, but the rain will be the story for this into the holiday weekend and early next week, especially across parts of Florida and the coast, which have already seen lots of rain. And the bad news is then it looks like it wants to hang around and stay along the coast as we head into the early part of next week. So some very heavy rain is likely with this. The other factor is with this track of the storm is the heaviest rain will occur on the eastern side of the low pressure. The western side will look a little drier, and the eastern side, if it takes an eastward track on where we expect it to go, that will place the heavier rain here from Atlanta down through Macon, Georgia, Jacksonville, Tallahassee into the Florida peninsula. I'm thinking more with this, so the way it looks, it may take a more western track and carry it further in our direction. In fact, I'm pinpointing down between Pensacola, Florida and New Orleans as the likely track of the center of this low pressure, but still the impacts for the heavy rain will carry on the northern and eastern sides, and that could in fact be our area. Here's what the tropical moisture will look like. Again, we see all of the moisture on the north and east sides of there, not so much in the west side. As we get into Saturday, the moisture starts to impact the coast. Sunday, then, making it inland to us, and that helps us to get a better chance of storms. And then the high pressures here on either side from the east and the west help to block it in place. So there's not many places this can go, only squeezing out to the north and east. So it will slowly do so, causing some heavy rainfall in the area. Here's what the rainfall potential is showing. We could see 1, 2, maybe 3 inches if the track comes more to the west there. Down here in the coast, though, some places will see 6 to 12 inches over the holiday weekend into early next week, and there will be locally higher amounts, so expect to see some stories over the holiday weekend about some significant flooding in areas, and we'll get a good drink of rain out of it too. Again, as far as the impacts, the heavy rain will occur with this regardless of the development. We expect to see some flooding. As we go into Saturday, that's when the Florida Peninsula and Panhandle will be impacted, as well as the coast. The rain then will make its way inland Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. You can stay up to date with our tropical updates online 24/7 at WCBI.com, and we'll have the latest for you on WCBI News throughout the weekend.